altering here later on. See, I'm going to start now. And I'll edit out that first part there, Linda, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so you, if for any reason you are ever absent, be it illness, people working in your house and they're making a racket you cannot handle, or you know you have things you have to attend to, no worries ever, because you can always watch the YouTube recording. And you always get the email that'll have the link to the YouTube and all the other links within 24 hours of class. Okay. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Me alegro de verlos. I am happy to see you. It was nice to have a bit of a break, but it's nice to see everybody back again. So, today we're just going to do a lot of kind of general conversation practice. After a little bit of intro and a little bit of overview, I'm going to ask people to contribute some ideas about what you're going to do, and we'll review how you do that in a little bit. But I thought, considering that, you know, la vida ha sido bastante deprimida. Life has been kind of depressing lately. It seems to accelerate, doesn't it? Yeah. In light of the somewhat depressing recent events here, I thought we'd open with a song which has no social significance whatsoever. It's a feel-good. It's a feel-good song. It is a fun song. The singer is cute as a button. And this particular recording of the song is, actually I'll turn off the recording because it'll ding me for a copyright violation, I'm quite sure. A little bit of past. So use that song to look at ya no and how they used ya no, and use it to kind of remind yourself that sometimes little pronouns like me or te are going to tell a story of who received the benefit of an action, who was at the receiving end of an activity, and kind of observe how those are used after you just have fun with it. Okay. A ver. Muy bien. Bueno, vamos a empezar. Con unos minutos de practicar la conversación. Before we do our conversation practice, I'm going to do a share screen with you just on the whiteboard for a minute. And the pattern, if you will, that we're going to play around with when we speak is talking about immediate future. It could even be future out there a ways. I want to talk about, because this is sort of thematic, es el año nuevo. Estamos ahora en 2021. We're now in 2021. Gracias a Dios. Thank you, God, for doing that. Okay. And we're going to talk about not so much New Year's resolutions. I'm not a big one for resolutions because it's too easy to break them. But what you plan on doing, And if you want to talk about what you plan on doing versus what you actually are doing right now, we have to talk about the future. And the easiest way that really everybody does is to use this pattern, ir plus a plus infinitivo. So I want everybody to take a little turn talking about what you're going to do, or maybe what somebody in your family is going to do, or maybe what your whole family together is going to do. Just some planned things, okay? And the way we're going to do that is we're going to conjugate that first verb, ir. So it's going to turn into voy, or vas, or va, if one person is doing it, or vamos, or only if you're in Spain, so we're not going to do it here, vais or van. Okay, so if a whole bunch of people in your family were doing it, it would be van instead of va. If it's we're going to do it, it's that. And then infinitivo. So we don't conjugate that second verb that actually conveys the meaning of the activity itself. Okay, por ejemplo, voy a darles unos ejemplos. I'm going to give you guys some examples before I ask you to contribute some ideas of your own. Entonces, voy a hablar, voy a, lo que, what? Lo que voy a hacer, what I'm going to do, lo que voy a hacer este año, lo que quiero hacer, what I want to do, lo que quiero hacer este año. Voy a pintar las paredes de mi casa. Voy a pintar las paredes de mi casa. Voy a pintar las paredes de mi casa, clase, porque hoy, porque mi casa es muy fea ahora. Mi casa es muy fea. No he pintado en años y años. I have not painted in years and years. Voy a pintar las paredes de mi casa. Voy a limpiar los gabinetes de mi cocina. Voy a otra idea, otro proyecto. Tengo muchos proyectos en mi casa. ¿Vale? Bueno, voy a limpiar los gabinetes. Gabinetes son cabinets, los gabinetes de mi cocina. Voy a voy a hablar de que no vamos a hacer. Por ejemplo, mi familia no va a hacer ningún viaje. Necesito, and I apologize. I cannot put my accent mark in because I cannot get to my button. Ningún viaje este año. And of course, that is my terrible word, año. That is really anus as ano, but it's año. I do not have my button available right now on the screen. Mi familia no va a hacer ningún viaje este año. My family is not going to make any kind of trip this year. And when I go back in, I will correct that and get my ñ up there, which I can't put that in right now. So that's grating on me. Okay. Algunas ideas. Voy a pintar las paredes de mi casa. Voy a limpiar los gabinetes de mi cocina. Y algo negativo, something negative. Mi familia no va a hacer ningún viaje este año. Mi familia no va a hacer. My family's not going to make or going to take. And when we talk about familia, even though there are a whole bunch of people in there, familia is a one unit thing. So it gets that singular form of ir, va. Okay. Vale. ¿Entienden? Understand? ¿Entienden todos? Okay. ¿Alguien quiere comenzar? Somebody want to start? Would somebody like to start with some ideas of what you're going to do for this year en el año 2021? Un voluntario.
I can start.
Magnífico.
Este verano, cuando en Illinois, voy a limpiar mi sótano.
Otra vez la última palabra, that last word again.
Sótano.
Oh, sótano.
Sótano.
Sótano. Sótano.
Es leno es Leno. Después vivió en mi casa 53 años.
Ah, bien. Y sótano es un lugar, a place, en la casa, muy abajo, ¿no?
Sí,
Al fondo, el cuarto o el área al fondo, at the very bottom, al fondo de la casa. ¿Bien? Ok.
sí.
Aquí no tenemos sótanos, ¿verdad? Here we don't have.
Sí.
Aquí es una cosa muy rara tener un sótano en Arizona porque la tierra es tan dura. Es difícil cavar, it's hard to dig. Es difícil cavar y cuesta mucho cavar
Okay.
para construir un sótano, ¿no?
Sí.
Entonces es muy difícil guardar cosas extras en Michigan, en Illinois, en Minnesota. Es muy fácil guardar, keep or store, guardar las cosas extras como decoraciones de Navidad, como cosas de la infancia de sus niños en el sótano, right? We put all our junk. Todo va al sótano. Everything goes to the basement, ¿verdad?
Toda mi familia también also.
También usa el
Sí,
sótano
sí,
con todas las cosas de todos los miembros de la familia. Entonces tienes un montón
sí,
de cosas en el sótano, ¿no?
sí.
Así es.
Muchas cosas.
Muchas cosas. Ok. Excelente. ¿Otras ideas? ¿Hay otras ideas?
I will do next.
Ok, Suway.
Okay. ¿Cuánto podemos viajar con Suitado? Yo quiero ir a Nueva York a visitar a mi hermano menor.
¿Y dónde vive en Nueva York? ¿Dónde en Nueva York?
Brooklyn.
Oh, en Brooklyn.
Yeah.
La nueva esposa de mi sobrino, my nephew's new wife, la nueva esposa de mi sobrino vive en Brooklyn ahora. Ella tiene un empleo, un trabajo, un empleo nuevo como abogada. Ella es nueva abogada.
Abogada.
Abogada es lawyer. Y ella trabaja en Nueva York, pero vive en Brooklyn. Sí, en Brooklyn. Y entonces, magnífico. Y cuando sea posible, when it is possible.
Yes.
Cuando sea posible, whenever it may be possible. Cuando sea posible. When we don't know if it's going to happen, we would not say cuando es posible. We would say cuando sea, when it may be, because we don't know. Cuando sea posible, vamos a viajar. Magnífico. Bueno, Suway, gracias. A Nueva York. Nueva York es un lugar muy emocionado, ¿no? Hay muchas cosas que podemos hacer en Nueva York. Hay museos, hay teatro.
La cocina.
Oh, restaurantes exóticos. Hay
Mucho
todo. Sí, hay muchísimas cosas que se
Ya.
puede hacer en Nueva York. Es una ciudad muy cosmopolita.
Sí.
Cosmopolita.
Ya.
Cosmo-
Me encanta visitar a Nueva York.
Oh, sí, a mí también, me encanta, me encanta. A mi esposo no le encanta visitar Nueva York porque a él, él trabaja ahora, él
Oh,
trabaja arriba en el segundo piso de la casa, ¿no? Y a él no le encanta Nueva York porque a él no le encantan las ciudades grandes.
sí.
Sí.
Se crió en las granjas de Iowa. He grew up on the farms of Iowa. Y por eso, therefore, por eso no le encantan las ciudades grandes. A mí me encantan las ciudades grandes
Yeah.
por todo el mundo, all over the world. Okay.
Yo también. Yo también.
Pero así es, ¿sí? Mi esposo y yo somos opuestos, almas opuestas. We are opposite souls en muchos sentidos, ¿sí? Y atraímos, we're muy attract. Ok, muy bien, muy bien. ¿Alguien más? ¿Alguien más tiene ideas de qué va a hacer? What is going to be done?
I'll go.
Ok, magnífico, Jeff.
En 2021, mi hermana y su esposo construyendo una nueva casa.
Oh, ¿van a construir?
Mhm.
Van a construir.
Yes. Mientras ellos viven con nuestros,
Oh,
con sus perros muy grande.
Entonces, ok. ¿Es hermana o hermano? Otra vez.
Hermana.
Ok. Tu hermana y tu cuñado. Oh, cuñado, brother-in-law.
Sí.
Cuñado. Entonces, de Jeffrey, sí, su hermana y su cuñado van a vivir con ellos,
Sí.
con su perro
perro muy
enorme, con su perro enorme. ¿Tienes perro? Ya, momento, ya tienes tu perro también. Do you also already have a dog?
No.
No. Bienvenido al mundo de las mascotas. Welcome to the world of pets. Va a ser muy interesante.
So far, 12 semanas.
12 semanas.
So far.
Ay.
Oh,
Ok. Bueno, ¿por cuánto tiempo? For how much time? ¿Por cuánto tiempo van a construir esa casa?
Otra 3 o 4 meses.
3 o 4. Oh, 3 o 4 meses. Ok. No es malísimo. It's not really, really bad. No es un año. Pero es demasiado, too much. Es demasiado. Whenever you want to say it's too much is a really long word. I'm going to put the word down in the chat box. This is a really useful. Es una palabra muy útil. This is a really useful word. Demasiado. It's a long word. Es demasiado. It's too much. Whenever you want to say it's too much, whether it costs too much or it's going on too long, or you're just, well, you could do it in a fed up situation, or just not fed up, or just too much. Demasiado. Es demasiado. It's too much. Okay. Qué interesante.
Muy interesante.
Muy interesante. Sí, es difícil compartir, share. Es difícil compartir el espacio de la casa con otras personas.
Sí.
Sí, como yo comparto toda la casa con ambos hijos. Right now, we're sharing with, because we're not quarantined for bad reasons, but we're quarantined, because of, yeah. Y es difícil compartir la cocina. El cuarto más difícil, the hardest room, el cuarto más difícil de compartir en toda la casa es la cocina.
Sí.
Y comemos comidas diferentes.
¿Alguien es vegetariano?
Sí.
Entonces, sí. Entonces, hay comida extra en la nevera. Hay comida extra porque ellos usan ingredientes diferentes.
Muy lleno. Is it llenos full?
Está lleno.
Sí, lleno.
Está lleno. O la nevera, el refrigerador está lleno, o la nevera. La nevera es refrigerator. They use different words for refrigerator in different regions of different countries even. Some people like to say el refri, like short for fridge, like we do. Some people say el refrigerador. Some people like to use la nevera. And nevera kind of comes from that same word that nieve, snow, comes from. Okay, entonces nevera es fridge. La nevera está llena.
Sí.
O el refrigerador está lleno. So we have to use está with that. We wouldn't say la nevera es llena, está llena, because it's in a state of being full. Full or empty is a very changeable state. Magnífico.
Y tengo que reparar la puerta de la nevera.
La puerta de la nevera. La puerta está rota. It's broken.
I don't know how to say the word. Hinges squeaking, starting to squeak from the weight of the.
Okay. Sí, eso es. Es fácil.
Yes.
Fácil. Es fácil de arreglar, ¿no? Es fácil. Bien.
Una pregunta por Jeff. Una pregunta por Jeff. ¿Quién camina el perro?
Mi cuñado camina el perro usualmente.
¿Y cuántas veces? How many times? ¿Cuántas veces camina con el perro?
Durante el día, I'd say aproximadamente 3 veces, pero anoche 2 o 3 veces.
Sí, depende.
Yeah.
Depende. Ok. Bien. Ahora, porque hace buen tiempo, es muy fácil caminar con el perro afuera, ¿sí? Cuando hace muchísimo calor, es más difícil. es más difícil caminar porque al pobre animal no le gusta el calor
Sí.
del verano, ¿verdad? Ahora es muy fácil. Porque
Mucho pelo en la casa.
ay, sí. Siempre con las mascotas hay mucho pelo. Ay, sí. Por ejemplo, mi cuñada, la hermana de mi esposo. La hermana de mi esposo, mi cuñada, my sister-in-law, mi cuñada que vive en Chicago, mi cuñada tiene sus 2 hijos en su casa también y la esposa que vive en Brooklyn ha llegado aquí ella visita a toda la familia. Y entonces ahora hay 5 personas en su casa. Su perro, que es un labrador, y el gato de su hijo. Entonces el gato de su hijo tiene que vivir en el sótano. El gato vive en el sótano y el perro vive en la planta baja, first floor, en la planta baja. Y los 2 animales saben, ¿sí? El gato en el sótano sabe que el perro está en la planta baja. Y el gato está pensando en el perro y el perro sabe que el gato está en el sótano. Y entonces quieren reunirse, they want to get together para luchar un poquito, pero no pueden. Ok. Muy bien. Es difícil vivir con un animal si no estás acostumbrado, if you're not accustomed, si no estás acostumbrado a tener mascota, es difícil tener un animal con el pelo y todo ¿sí? en la casa. Eso es. Ok. ¿Alguien más tiene ideas de qué va a hacer? ¿O algo más? ¿Algo más?
Okay, I'll try.
Ok. Magnífico.
It's very short. Un poquito.
Está bien.
Voy a encontrar
Find
una nueva oportunidad.
una nueva oportunidad. Ok, cuidado, porque 9 es 9.
Sí, sí.
¿Quieres la palabra nueva?
Nueva.
Perfecto. Una nueva oportunidad.
Sí, de voluntariado.
De ser voluntario.
Sí.
To be a volunteer.
Sí. O un trabajo.
Un trabajo or work.
Sí.
Es buena meta. I'm going to put another word down in the chat box for you guys. Meta, a goal. This is a word that is really quite common when people talk about what they want to do. Una meta. A meta is, it looks kind of like a word meter or something, isn't it? Like a measurement, but it's not metro or, subway or, meta. Meta is a goal. It is something that you want to achieve. And people use this Very, very often. Okay. Bien. Quieres ser, you want to be. Quieres ser voluntaria, and you would make it an A because you're late.
Sí.
Quieres ser, you want to be. We have volunteer as a verb. You could say, quiero ofrecerme. I want to offer myself.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, they do not turn the word voluntario,
Okay.
which is a legitimate noun in Spanish, because it comes from the old Latin, right? They do not use volunteer as a verb. They can't take voluntario and make a verb out of it like we do. It's just not what they do. They can say, voy a ser, I'm going to be. Voy a ser voluntaria, I'm going to be a volunteer. O me ofrezco, I offer myself, literally, which is what you're doing when you volunteer. But that's the verb they use. If they use a verb, they can't turn voluntario into a verb. You know, often we can do that in Spanish, but
Okay.
yeah.
I had forgotten we talked about that.
Okay, y pero no quiero interrumpir. I don't really want to interrupt.
No.
¿Quieres ser voluntaria o quieres buscar? You want to look for. ¿Quieres buscar o encontrar, to find, un empleo? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Un empleo. Bien. Va a ser, it's going to be, va a ser más fácil buscar empleo después de la vacuna, ¿verdad?
Oh,
Vacuna es vaccine.
vaccine, right.
Después de la vacuna va a ser más fácil buscar empleo.
Sí. Okay.
¿Tienes otras ideas, Linda?
Can you say that again?
¿Tienes otras ideas? Do you have other ideas?
No.
No.
sé.
Okay. Okay.
No sé, just is it, oh God, however they can use me. So it's cualquier, is that right?
Cualquier, any at all.
Any at all, sí. Cualquier, is it cosa que pueda usarme.
Bien, sí, que pueda.
Right? However they can use me.
However they might be able to use me, que pueda.
Whew, that was hard.
Muy bien. Eso es muy avanzado. That is very advanced. Que pueda, that they may be able to use me. Excelente. Excelente. Muy bien. Vale, magnífico. Yo voy a ofrecerme también en el futuro como voluntaria a una organización que ofrece ideas de política a la legislatura. Una amiga mía es una persona muy activa y ella es voluntaria de un grupo de ex maestros, former teachers, ex maestros que quieren darles a los miembros del Congreso en Arizona para leyes de las escuelas, laws pertaining to the schools, sí. Y voy a ser voluntaria también en el futuro con ese grupo que sugieren leyes, they suggest laws, o sugieren acciones que el gobierno de Arizona debe realizar con las escuelas del estado de Arizona. Es buena cosa ser voluntario. It's a good thing to be a volunteer. Es buena cosa, ¿sí? Con casa, como por ejemplo, Tomás es voluntario con la organización de MS. Tomás es voluntario para pedir fondos, to raise funds, ¿sí? Para recaudar fondos para MS, to raise funds to fight that disease. ¿Sí? Es buena cosa. Ok. ¿Alguien más? ¿Alguien más? Oh, yo tengo también. Se me olvidó. I completely forgot. Se me olvidó. Tengo una meta más que es una meta muy importante. Quiero montar en bicicleta y dar una caminata así. Quiero llegar a la meta de 300 millas. 300 millas. Quiero andar o montar 300 millas o 300 millas en el proyecto de 100 millas, the 100 mile, ¿sí?
Sí.
Con los parques de Maricopa. Con los parques de Maricopa, 100 millas, el proyecto de 100 millas, the 100 mile hike, ¿sí? Quiero llegar a la meta de 300 millas. I want to get to the 300 mark. Ahora tengo 275 millas. 275 millas ahora tengo desde noviembre, desde el 1 de noviembre, since November 1st, I've got 275. Sí.
I don't know how to say "you go girl" in Spanish, but you go girl.
Vámonos.
Vamos.
Vámonos.
I want to say I don't know how to use past tense. I did 250 miles last year. 240 50.
240.
No, 250
50.
millas last year.
Bien. Excelente. Excelente. Y ahora como ya tengo mi bicicleta en buen orden, my bike is now in good shape, está en buen orden, puedo hacer más, puedo ganar más millas con la bicicleta, porque es posible, para mí es posible montar 15 millas. 15 millas es algo muy fácil de hacer, ¿no? Tomás monta en bicicleta un montón de millas. Tomás goes like a ton of miles, ¿sí? Oh, Tomás, you got to unmute. Oh, otra vez, no podemos oír. I don't think I can hear you, Tomás. Necesitas subir el volumen o algo. ¡Oh, Tomás! 6,000, más de 6,000. ¡Uy, ay! ¡Qué fantástico! ¡Wow! Sí, wow. ¡Wow! ¡Ay! 6,000 millas en 2020? Te aplaudo. Eres una maravilla. You are a marvel. Ok. Muy bien. Ok, vale. ¿Alguien quiere decir más de los proyectos del futuro o no? Anybody want to say anything more about future projects? Sí. Bien. Bueno. Bueno, este es Jan. This is Jan.
Después de la vacuna, voy a viajar a Chicago para ver mis 2 nietas.
Tienes 2 nietas en Chicago. ¿Están en la ciudad de Chicago o están en las afueras?
En Evanston.
Oh, en Evanston. Me gusta Evanston. Evanston tiene la Universidad de Northwestern
Sí,
y Evanston también tiene muchas tiendas, tiene muchos restaurantes. Es un lugar encantador. It is an enchanting area. Me gusta también Evanston. Porque yo viví 11 años en Chicago.
Oh,
Viví 11 años en Chicago, entonces sí, conozco Evanston muy bien y me gusta Evanston muchísimo. Ok, bien. ¿Alguien más? Ok, bien. Y ¿tienes un restaurante favorito en Evanston, Gian? ¿O no?
no.
No, porque comes con toda la familia, ¿verdad?
Mi hijo no vive en Evanston más años. So don't know yet.
Ok,
Not-
ok, bien. ¿Cuántos años tienen sus nietos? ¿Cuántos años tienen?
3 y 4.
3 y 4. Son muy niños, muy niños. Excelente. Ok, bien. ¿Hay alguien más que quiere hablar un poquito o no? ¿Nada? ¿Nada? ¿Nadie? ¿Nobody? Ok. Ok, muy bien. I want to introduce a little idea. We were talking about adverbs, and Jan, you don't know this, but that's okay. And Jan, just let me know at some later time if you plan to get this or not. You don't have to. I can easily send, ya tienes. Magnífico. Okay. Entonces, miren, por favor, if you've got the book handy, I just want to give this to you as a reference. La página. En la página 119, we, and Jan, so that you know, because you are new, we kind of jump around to different areas. We use this more as a reference. We jump around to different areas. We're talking a lot about adverbs and how you make adverbs. And adverbs talk about the verb. That's the reason for the word adverb, that we're talking about the verb and how that action is done. So it might be, an adverb has many forms. Sometimes we take an adjective like lento, slow, and turn it into slowly. Somebody might walk slowly or run slowly or speak slowly, right? So lento becomes lentamente. So mente often identifies an adverb. Mente tells how something is being done. And mente won't ever be masculine or feminine. Well, it kind of is. You know, you have to turn it into a feminine form before you tag on the mente, right? So lenta, and I at the end of it, lentamente. If you have a word like frecuente, frecuente is already in a feminine form, so it becomes frecuentemente, frequently. But not all adjectives end the li. Not all adjectives have mente. So, entonces, en la página 119, on page 119, it gives you a whole bunch of different kinds of adjectives. And this is kind of the topic I want to seg into today for our little new grammar thing that I want us to plug in to some ideas for conversation next week. There are a whole lot of adverbs that don't add mente on. I don't care that you know that they are adverbs. That's kind of grammar speak. I mean, it's nice, but it's not really important that you're plugging into your brain, this is an adverb. It's important that you know I'm talking about maybe when the action is done. Okay, so adverbs go into, they tell you on that page 119, some of them are adverbs of quantity, meaning how often you do something. Okay, and those are the words like mucho or tanto or poco or casi or más or menos or demasiado. All those things talk about how often or how much or how little you do something. So they're kind of like, you should think of those words as a plus or a minus, a plus or a minus. I do this a lot or I do this very little, okay? And so all those words in that top a section of page 119 talk about how often or how much you do something. And we don't tag a mente onto those, but they're adverbs. They talk about the activity. Entonces, un ejemplo. Buen ejemplo. Es un buen ejemplo. No, cuando veo la televisión, cuando veo la tele, when I look at TV, cuando veo la televisión, no veo tanto programas de realidad. I don't watch reality shows so much. No veo tanto. I don't so much. No veo tanto los programas de realidad. Veo mucho más. I watch much more. Veo mucho más programas de noticias o programas de dramas o programas que son comedias. Okay? So those are quantity kind of things. O por ejemplo, en nuestra casa, in our house, en nuestra casa, no comemos o mejor, even better, comemos muy poco, comemos muy poco la comida vegan. Comemos muy poco la dieta vegan. We, do vegan, see? Okay. So those talk about how much or how often you do something, quantity. And then it tells you adverbs that tell how something is done. And here's the idea of well or badly. And here is something where we in English, or many people in English, violate this a lot. You know how a lot of people like to say, wow, he sings really good. You'll hear people make that. Yeah, where they really should say he sings well, or he does that really good. And it really should be well. This is one of those things in Spanish that almost never gets violated. Por ejemplo, Por ejemplo, sería posible decir sí, que ese cantante, that singer, canta muy bien, canta muy bien. Sings very well. O estoy bien, I am well. Not I am good, I am well. Estoy bien. Bien. No trabajo muy bien con esa persona. I don't work very well with that person. Okay. Bien y mal. Bien y mal. Mejor y peor. If you do something better or you do something worse, or anybody does something better or worse, you know, relative to somebody else. And then we've got these things of time or place, adverbs of time or place. And there's a whole list of those, so I'm not going to read them all, but we are going to take a special look today at ya and ya no, because those two are super, super common. And Tomas, I will apologize to you because I think you've already seen this video, but we should take a look at this video because ya and ya no are super, super common in discussions. And those two words out of that whole group, those two words get very confusing because not so much the ya no, but the ya word has many, many, many meanings. Whereas these other words have straight on just one meaning. Ya actually means a lot more than already. So we're going to take a little look at that today. But all these words like, you know, a veces, sometimes, ahora, ahora mismo, which makes it a little more urgent. Siempre, always, right? Todavía, ya and ya no, already and no longer. Temprano y tarde, temprano, early, and tarde. Generalmente, generalmente me levanto muy temprano. Generally, I get up very early. Hoy me levanté muy tarde. Today, I got up very late. Temprano y tarde. Aquí y allí. Acá, allá. Those are all different words that mean here or there. So, you know, all these things tell you where something is happening or in what time frame they're happening. Not how often, but in what time frame. Cerca, nearby. There's something we use a lot. And you hear that word cerca a lot to talk about, you know, location, something that is nearby, cerca. En lo alto means really way up high, en lo alto. Lejos, far off. So I would, in this whole list, and you've got two columns in this middle list, I would kind of star the words a veces, ahora. I'm going to kind of pick out the ones that I think you will hear more often. A veces and ahora, siempre and todavía, ya and ya no, temprano and tarde, because we often talk about what is being done earlier or later. Aquí and allí, and its little accompanying words, acá y allá. Cerca and lejos. The en lo alto, I would kind of skip by. I mean, it's okay, but you're not going to hear it as often as you hear cerca and as often as you hear lejos. Atrás, you'll hear a lot. That's in back. Atrás. Arriba, if something is up, you'll hear that a lot. And I think that word afuera, outside, even more than adentro. Adentro is the opposite of afuera. Adentro is inside. And okay, that's kind of important, but a lot of people will say something is out there. You know, meaning they're telling you go out that way. Okay, so those are kind of important. And I want you to star those because those are words I want you to kind of key into and incorporate that vocabulary, because this isn't really a grammar thing, it's a vocabulary thing. I want you to incorporate a lot of these words on this page in conversation practice we'll do next week, okay? And that middle bunch with time and place has a lot of words, but some are more common than others. And then they give us at the very, very bottom these adverbs of direction, which you may or may not use. You know, normally I like to do this in a lesson where we're in a room so that I can tell you to go to a place, and I can't really do that very well with Zoom. But, you know, they are important. A la derecha, to the right, right? A la izquierda, to the left. And that word izquierda is hard for a lot of people to pronounce. What a long word. Izquierda. Sometimes you need to break it down. This week, you may want to break that word izquierda down into syllables. When we have a long word in English, we have to break it into syllables. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, right? Izquierda, 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 a la izquierda, to the left. The two words below a la izquierda are the words for straight ahead. Okay, and notice that derecha with an a at the end, a la derecha means to the right. But if you turn derecha into derecho with an o at the end, it means dead ahead. And those two words, derecho and recto, are exact synonyms. They mean the exact same thing. People may use either one to tell you straight ahead. Straight ahead, okay? Another word I want you to notice from when you go back and listen to the Sophia song is he uses the word sigo. Sigo means I continue or I keep going. When somebody gives you directions and they tell you, oh, go straight, like you don't know where something is located, you got to get to the bank to get to an ATM and withdraw some money. If somebody takes that word sigo and they turn it into siga, it means they're turning that word sigo, continue, into a command, and they're telling you, keep going. So sigo is I'm doing it. If somebody gives you a command and says siga, and they turn that little o at the end of sigo into an a, they're giving you a command, and they're telling you, keep going straight. Siga recto, siga derecho becomes a command. Siga, it means they're telling you, go do it. Siga recto, siga derecho means keep going straight. Okay. You won't practice that, but just so you know, para que sepan, so that you know. When you take that word sigo and you turn it into siga, you're making it an order, go straight. So if somebody gives you directions and they want you to go straight for 4 blocks, they'll say something like, siga derecho, por 4 cuadras, for 4 blocks, okay? Para que sepan, so you know. Okay. And below these adverbs of direction, they give you like little sentences where they put those adverbs in bold. Ya sé, I already know. Ya sé que ella está aquí. Él siempre hace bien su tarea. Los niños cocinan poco. Little kids cook only a very little bit. ¿Por qué no vienes acá? María llega temprano, su amiga llega tarde, a la derecha hay una iglesia, to the right, a la izquierda hay un banco. So they give you examples of how those are used, okay? So what I will want you to do and to come prepared to do next week, we still have time to do a little lesson here, but just so you know, we're going to take all these words on this page and I want you to incorporate at least 3 or 4 and come in prepared to do some conversation practice next week, talking about how much you do something. We're going to talk about typical things in a typical day. How much you do something, or how often you do something, or maybe what time of day, temprano or tarde, you do something. So I want you to pick things that are pertinent or relevant for you to talk about how you do certain things typically. Okay. And the only thing I'm going to mandate is that somewhere in that practice, you can use any of those that are relevant for you, but I want one example. I want you to pick at least 4 adverbs to use, but I want you to use that combination of ya or ya no. That's one you must use somewhere in your practice. Either ya or ya no, meaning the affirmative ya or the negative ya no. Bien? Good with that so far? Okay. But we're going to kind of do a side mini lesson here that's going to focus just on ya and ya no. And apologies to Tomas, because I'm really sure you've seen this video already, but only you. I do want to show this video because it's going to talk a lot about the many things that ya can mean. Your book gives you ya as already, but ya has a whole bunch of, it's used in many ways. Context with the word ya is super important. And people wind up saying, I don't really know what the word ya means because I've heard it used in a bunch of different ways. Well, that's because depending on the context, ya means way more than what your book tells you as already, okay? And it's important for you to get a little bit comfortable with this word ya, because in conversation or in listening drills you may get on the internet, you may hear ya used in all these different ways, okay? So we're gonna do a little mini listening drill on ya, and apologies to Tomas because this will be a repeat for you. But different ways we use ya, and he's going to sneak in there one example of ya no. He's going to sneak in one example of ya no. So be watching for that.
Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Hey guys, welcome back to the Language Tutor Spanish series. It's episode 72 already. We've covered a lot of Spanish, haven't we guys? Well, today I'm going to bring in something new to you. And again, this was a great suggestion by one of our amigos on the Language Tutor Spanish Facebook page. And I've been taking notes for you guys. I've been taking notes what you want, what you've been asking for. And I'm trying to get these out to you as quick as I can, making notes and filming lessons and getting them out because I want to help you with your adventures in learning Spanish. So this lesson is all about the word ya, Y-A, this troublemaker right here, ya. This word is one of those that sometimes people go, what does this word really mean? And sometimes Spanish speakers aren't able to 100% identify exactly what it means in English.
Okay, I'm going to pause here. He just said a lot of Spanish speakers can't identify, and that's because that is very true. It's one of those things, if you ask a native speaker, they'll kind of roll their eyes up. Well, it means this and this and this and this and y depende, and it depends. Because it's such a natural thing. And the reason they'll roll their eyes and think about it is that it's used in so many ways, and it's hard for them to peg down and to give you a list because there are a ton of ways. So that doesn't mean somebody is ignorant. It means that, oh my gosh, there's so many ways we use this word. How do I begin to explain it to you? It becomes a point of confusion because they know they're going to leave something out when they don't mean to. So, okay, bien.
It's got so many different meanings. It really does. It's one of these words that can mean a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. And honestly, when you start speaking Spanish and you start using it, it just starts to feel natural, and you just end up saying it. Yeah. You just throw it into your conversation and you realize you're saying it and it just makes sense and it sounds right. You'll get it down, okay? You will definitely get it down. All right. Let's kick it off. First thing, I want to try to define what it means. Well, it can mean already. It can mean anymore. It can mean now. It can mean right now. And it can mean a lot of other things. Okay. So I wish I could come on and give you a definite, this is what it means and this is how you use it, but it's just a universal word that gets used a lot in Spanish. Okay. So here's what I want to do to help you understand some of the context of this word. I want to give you 10 different scenarios of how you can use the word ya. All right. I would start with those 10, bring those into your conversation, and then you might want to Google it and see the tons of websites out there and tons of comments where people have tried to explain it and bring in more ways to use it. Okay. So that's just start here and then move out from there. Okay. So let's look at 10 different ways you can use the word ya. The first one is this, just saying ya. And it means that's enough. Stop it. Quit it. Yeah. That's enough. Okay, that's one way. You just say yeah. And it's telling somebody that's it. No more. Okay, so that's one way. Here's another way. Whenever you say you're doing something now, like this. Ya voy. I'm leaving now.
So this one's kind of important. A lot of times, ya is used kind of like you would imagine you would use ahora. Ahora means, well, hora means hour, right? Ahora is now, at this hour, literally. But a lot of people might use it as an equivalent for a synonym, meaning the word meaning the same thing as ahora.
Or I'm leaving now. Either one, however you want to stress it. But ya voy, I'm leaving now. Okay, that's another one. Now here's another one that people use a lot to mean already. Hey, have you already eaten? Ya comiste?
And he threw that in with a past tense verb. So don't worry about that past tense. That word comiste just means ate instead of eating right now. That's all.
Ya comiste? You ate is really what we're saying because we're putting comer in the past tense. So that's another way. Ya comiste? All right. Here's another one. When you want to tell somebody what to do and you just say, hey, you do this and that's it. And you're all set. A lot of times we want to say that, hey, just take care of this, and you're all set. Good to go. That's another way to use ya. So you're in a place and you say, well, so what do I do here? And they say, pagas en la caja y ya. You pay at the register and that's it. Pagas en la caja y ya. Okay. Another way to use the word ya is if you want to say anymore. Something is no longer done. I don't do this anymore. Okay. You might say this. Ya no fumamos. Now already, however you want to translate it. We don't smoke. We don't smoke anymore. Ya no fumamos. We don't smoke anymore. I hope that's the case. Bad habit, right? So, ya no fumamos. We don't do that anymore. Okay, now you can also use it as finally, like now, finally, ya comprendo. Finally, I understand. Ya comprendo, ya comprendo.
And this is kind of like, it is in the vein of already. You know, finally is, oh, now I get it. Ya comprendo is like saying, now I get it. Ya comprendo.
I finally understand. All right. We can also use it to emphasize things. I already know that. Ya lo sé.
And a lot of people say this all the time. Ya lo sé. Ya lo sé. I already know it. That word lo, you learned back last time that lo means it, right? When it receives an action, that's a direct object pronoun. Who cares? It just means it. Yeah. Ya lo sé. Ya lo sé. Most people won't say ya sé. I already know. Most people will inject that word lo in no matter what. Ya lo sé. I already know. And the lo just refers to whatever the stuff is that you know. Ya lo sé. Ya lo sabe. He already knows. Ya lo sabe. He already knows.
I already know that. You're emphasizing, not I know that. I already know that. You're emphasizing it. Ya lo sé. That's another way to say it. Okay. You can also use it to indicate something that will happen in the future. You know it's going to be done. Ya lo haré. I will do this. I will do this.
And
Ya
that has a future, not a biggie. Don't worry about future
lo
tense.
haré. I will learn to speak Spanish fluently. Ya lo haré. I will do it. So that's a way to use it. Now, you'll also hear some people say, yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Like, they're kind of doubting what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, sure. So that's another way. All right. Now, I'm going to give you one more. This will be number 10, I believe. Soon. Okay. Soon. Ya lo lograrás. You will achieve it. Ya lo lograrás. Soon you will achieve it. Okay.
So you can see why it's hard for a native speaker to explain this to somebody learning Spanish. It can mean now, it can mean soon, it can mean already, but it depends on the context. It depends on the context in which it is used. So in other words, you're not going to know these 10 things automatically. It will come little by little, but the way you will get more accustomed to it is hearing more of it, its use more frequently in various contexts and trying to use it, which you're going to try to do in various contexts.
So that's another way that you can use it to indicate something that will happen and you feel confident about it. Okay, amigos.
Okay, y eso es todo. That's it. So now your first assignment to mull it over and maybe do a little prep for conversation practice next week will be incorporating at least 4 of these adverbs we had on page 119, en la página 119, ¿sí? Any 4. One of them should be a ya, okay? Your second assignment is going to be to use something a little more specific. We're going to take ya no, and I'm going to put it in the chat box. Ya no puedo. Ya no puedo. We're going to take that one, and it's going to be a separate second conversation, okay? Because I may be a little bit prejudiced. This is probably due to my advancing age. Ya no puedo. And we're going to have to stick an infinitive in here, okay? We're going to talk about what we can no longer do. That may be because of money. It may be because of staying at home. It may be because of age. It may be just because of opportunity. Ok, por ejemplo, ya no puedo, ya no puedo caminar. Ya no puedo caminar más de, and I apologize, I don't have my accent marks turned on. I can't do that this session. Más de 10 millas. Ya no puedo caminar más de 10 millas. I can no longer walk more than 10 miles. And give me a why. I can no longer do this and give me a why. Ok, por ejemplo, ya no puedo caminar más de 10 millas porque me duelen los pies because my feet hurt if I do more than 10 miles. Porque me duelen los pies because my feet hurt. It might be that you can't do something because anymore, you can't do something anymore because it costs too much. I'm just giving you some contextual ideas. It might be that you can't do something because you're just too old. I can't, por ejemplo, ya no puedo bailar muy bien porque soy vieja. I can't dance so well because I'm old. Me siento muy tonta. I feel very silly. O lo que sea, ¿sí? Por ejemplo, mi hija ya no puede tocar muy bien el piano. Ya no puede tocar muy bien el piano porque ella no practica. She can no longer play piano very well because she doesn't practice. Ya no puede tocar muy bien el piano porque no practica. Porque no practica nunca. She never practices. ¿Sí? Eso es. So something may be, for whatever reason, difficult, but give us a why as well. ¿Por qué? Because. The question, ¿por qué? Why? When we stick them together, it becomes because. Eso es, sí. ¿Ok? ¿Tienen ustedes preguntas? ¿Tienen ustedes alguna pregunta? Do you have any question about those two conversation prompts? ¿Sí o no? We're going to take the ya, no separately. ¿Bien? Exacto? Okay. In the email I will send you, I will give you the link to that video so that you can rewatch it. Vale la pena. It is very, very much worth the effort to watch it. Okay. Es suficiente. Is that enough, or do you want one extra adverb thing to look at a number of adverbs? ¿Quieren más o no? Do you want more or not? No, sí, sí, no, sí, no. Okay, I'm going to give you a link to, ¿dónde está? I thought I had this pulled up. Apparently not. This will be, okay, I'm going to give you one extra thing. I'm going to show you what it looks like before we leave today. I will give you the link to this. This is an online, so you're going to be able to check your answers. Yay! You get feedback right away. Oh, and look, it says beginner to intermediate. Ustedes Ustedes son muy avanzados. You guys are really advanced. It's going to tell you which words it's going to practice here. The options you're going to have are demasiado, too much, bien, well, mucho, much or a lot, peor, worse, poco, a little bit, siempre, always, bastante. Bastante means enough or quite. Por ejemplo, mi amigo canta bastante bien. Bastante bien, pretty well. Quite well. Okay. Bastante can also mean enough. Mejor, mal, nunca. And they give you your cues in English for what they want you to type in. Okay. And they even give you little accent mark things down here, should you need that and you don't have an accent mark keyboard. But you can plug in your answers here. These are just little adverbs, and you can then click on check your score or show solution or all of those. So I'm going to give you the link to that particular exercise. So you can do a little practice on your own. So it is technically a grammar thing, but it isn't really. It's learning new words to add in to talk about how you do stuff. Bien? Okay. ¿Está bien? Are we good? Bien? Okay, so we're going to have 2 conversation topics for next week to build in. And after that, I'll just give you an idea. The direction I want to go is I want to talk to you a little bit about something called reflexive verbs next week. So it'll be an expansion of the verb you use when you say me llamo, my name is. Me llamo, my name is. And this is kind of a big topic. We're going to take a little subset. It's going to be talking about, we're going to be using it to talk about our daily routines. Okay, bien. We're going to use it to talk about that. So just a preview to let you know what is coming next week. If there are particular topics you want me to hit on pretty hard this winter, feel free to email me with those anytime. And of course, I can also incorporate your ideas in. If you have an idea that is a different direction than mine, that is always okay. Bien. Okay, ¿está bien? Ya llegó la hora. The time has come. Ya llegó. It has already come. Son las 9. No, son las 11:04. It's 11:04. So if I keep you over too late, soy mala persona, then I'm a bad person. So we'll do a lot of adverb practice next week. We'll introduce a little bit about reflexives next week, so we can use some helpful verbs there. Y eso es, I think that's it for today. ¿Está bien? Fue un placer. It was a pleasure. Fue un placer. Y Linda and Diana, if you can give us, if you're going to do a Speaking Wednesday session, if you would email me that link so I can send it out to everybody so they know it's a voluntary thing. Yeah,
It's the same one we've been using.
Oh, the same one you've been using. Okay.
So I'll resend it to you.
If you would. Gracias.
Yeah.
I get such a ton of emails that sometimes I mistakenly delete something.
It's
and then...
set up so anyone can start it.
Okay.
So if I don't make it at 9, anyone can start it.
Okay. Fantástico.